Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Welcome to Wholesale Hotline number 188 on location here in Tampa Bay, Florida.
What's up?
In Jamil's room.
Hey, look at that. We're hanging out. We're bed buddies.
That's it.
How's it going, Wholesale Hotline? Nice to see everybody. I'm grateful to be here in Tampa, Florida with you, dude.
You've been going all day.
Yeah.
You've been busy.
I've been busy. I just hopped off a challenge with Ryan Pineda. He's in the middle of a webinar right now, blessing his community and a bunch of people there. A lot of Wholesale Hotline fans actually are not going to be with us today because they're over in Ryan's challenge because the chat was just going crazy with people like, Jamil, you got to go to Hotline. So they all knew that I was late. Yeah. Doing that, hung out with a bunch of folks from Family Mastermind, which is why we're both here today. Yep. Guys, if you ever thought that it ends, that learning ends, that networking ends, that connecting ends, you guys don't understand. You just got to get into bigger and better rooms. See, Brent and I, we both write a check, and Pace, as well as a lot of really high-level people. We write a check every single year to be a part of this mastermind year after year after year. Why? I'm rich. He's rich. Right. So what am I coming to this mastermind so that I can, be even more rich? Yes. And also so that I can make more friends and network and grow my resources, grow the things that I'm talking about, grow the things that I'm learning about. And I just got to say, if you guys are not putting yourself in situations that put you in rooms with guys like Brent or put you in rooms with guys that are better than Brent and I, you're missing out.
Yep.
Get out there, network, find ways, find opportunities to be around that frequency and watch your frequency change.
I'll tell you what, though, one thing that is very that is on the talk of everybody's conversation is building strong communities, building strong tribes, building a network of people that are doing amazing things and that are connecting with each other and supporting each other. So it's so encouraging to see the impact that the three of our communities have had in this industry. It's absolutely incredible.
It's not had an impact, Brent. It has
changed it. Yep.
It's changed the industry, right? And again, the TTP, the subto, and the Astro family, they play so well together. They work so well together. They love each other. They connect with each other. They help each other. It's none of this garbage of like, you're with him. Oh yeah, you're not one of my guys. No, we're with us. We're all together here. You know what us is? Us is you getting financial freedom. Us is you guys building scaled businesses. Us is you guys putting yourselves in and on the trajectory to achieving every single one of your dreams. That is the goal.
We talked about AI.
Yep.
Impact of AI. We talked about getting access to hedge funds, access to transactional funding, especially in the states that you require a license, or if you've just got a bigger deal. And it goes back to what you've put together with your own fund, is everybody on here is a buyer. There is more money than there are deals. Okay. And so when you're going out there and you're meeting with a property owner, you got to go with the confidence to know that you have millions of dollars behind you, and literally they will fund 100% of the purchase price.
Look at this. Funny enough that you say that. I'm texting with my transactional funding partner today.
Yep.
And we just what did we do today? We did where is this guy? I don't know. We funded over $1.5 million in deals, right? And it's and you think any of these wholesalers needed to come out of pocket with their own money? No, none of them needed to. There was 2 of those deals didn't even have EMD in. So that wholesaler skated away without even putting EMD in. We came in, whap, closed it.
Yep.
Second transaction closed. He looks like a stud right now because he got it all done. And here's the other piece. Nobody even knows that he wholesaled it.
Right.
Nobody knows that they wholesaled this because they closed on the transaction. So there's no assignment fee. There's no crazy realtor being like, what are you doing? What is this assignment thing on this contract? Are you a wholesaler? None of that's happening, right? Because you're utilizing transactional funding, which makes you the actual buyer.
Yeah. And I think this is what I think is very confusing. I think that people think that wholesaling is just assigning.
No.
You know what I mean? Wholesaling is the art of finding unbelievable opportunities.
Yeah,
that's what this is.
It's absolutely. It's
deals that have potential.
Yes.
It's finding potential.
That's it.
That's it.
You can, and that's the other piece, right? Is that like I was having a conversation today with Jason Hartman, and we were talking about different opportunities, and he had said to me, "So don't you ever feel like backed into a corner because you can only wholesale real estate?" And I looked at him. I said, "Are you out of your mind, bro?
I can do it all.
I'm about to.
Oh my gosh.
I'm about to embark on wholesaling businesses.
I love it
Because there are so many people, baby boomers right now, that are walking away from businesses that are producing $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 a year in revenue. They have nobody to take it over. They got no one to take it over. They got no way to get this deal done.
Yeah.
So what's my job? My job is to see, hey, what's this cash flow? What's this situation? What's the opportunity? I like it. Let's put it under contract. Let me control this situation and this circumstance. I'm going to go out and I'm going to find an operator that's going to want to take this off my hands, and I'm going to take 10% of the whole deal.
Yep.
Maybe take a little bit of money off the front.
Yep.
I'm going to be in the business.
Come on.
I'm going to be making a fee out the gate, and away we go. Right. And so this is what I'm talking about.
But you have that luxury because you have built a successful business.
Correct.
You have a cash machine that allows you the lifestyle to be able to go into these other opportunities.
Yes, sir.
Because if you're just getting started and you're still building momentum and you're in that self-employed, you know what I mean? If you look at the cash flow quadrant, old school, and you see employee, self-employed, business owner, investor, when you're in that self-employed, stay focused there. Do everything that you can to start building the machine, and then you can start firing yourself from certain roles, and then you're going to have the opportunity to look at assets. But if you're trying to wholesale businesses and trying to grow a wholesale real estate company, and you're trying to flip, and you're trying to build a rental portfolio, what ends up happening is you spin your wheels, you keep making the same amount of money year after year after year because you're just unfocused. So really, really, really stay focused. I'm telling you guys, wholesaling is the engine that allows us to go out there and have the freedom to be able to be that investor. Absolutely. Which is that final box. A lot of people go, well, I want to go and I want to be self-employed and I want to do some deals, but I also want to buy assets and be an investor. Well, the problem with that is you take your attention off of growing your machine, your cash cow, the golden goose, so to speak, and then all of a sudden you don't get to the place where you can replace yourself and you're making tremendous amount of passive income.
Well, what's interesting, right?
Because you get paid.
Oh yeah,
every month.
Yes,
from your wholesaling business.
My wholesaling.
When was the last appointment you went on in your wholesaling business?
I don't know.
When was
3 years ago?
Right.
3-4 years ago, maybe.
Right.
And that's probably it's probably been longer than that. Because again, I do mainly direct to agent, right? And so I had been on some seller appointments, but like even then, agents don't make me go out to see houses, right? I've got all the gab. I don't need to come out and see the place. It's fine. But what's really interesting, I released a YouTube video today on my channel. It was about self-sabotage.
Check it out.
Self-sabotage.
Okay.
And shiny object syndrome, this impulse to build a little bit of something and then move to another thing and then build a little bit of that and move to another thing and then build a little bit of that and then move to another thing. You want to know why that's happening? You want to know why you're doing that? Well, because you're sabotaging yourself. Because you don't want to get across the line and fail. Your ego is like, no, not interested in failing. So don't finish. right? Then the other piece is, right, you got that piece going, but then the other piece is like, well, what happens if you do and you do win? Then what do we do? Because we kind of suck, right? Like, don't, and I say we because it's you and your ego having this really terrible conversation. You think that these little impulses, your emotions, and that you get, oh, I didn't feel like it today. Okay. Well, what does I didn't feel like it come from? It comes from a thought. That thought created a negative emotion that made you lazy, and then you didn't do the work, and you sabotage yourself out of a situation and an opportunity. Yep. So somebody said, how do I get started in real estate? You take a step.
Yeah. Conversations and offers. You find a property that has potential. I mean, that's really what we're talking about.
Yes,
you find a property that has potential, whether it's run down, whether it's vacant, whether, there's different signs of distress that property owners have, whether it be the condition of the property, whether it be just emotional distress, whether it be a financial distress. And we go and we start having conversations with those property owners, and we start making offers. That's where that's the seed of real estate investing, be a real estate entrepreneur. And then from there, you match that up with another investor that wants to buy that opportunity, and you've got your first deal. And the beautiful thing about wholesaling that I think a lot of people sleep on, Jamil, is you get to watch what they do with this property. You don't pay the stupid tax, right? Yeah. You don't pay the stupid tax of going in and having to close on it and raise funds and fix and flip. You don't pay the stupid tax of buying a rental in the wrong area that keeps getting beat up, and it takes away all of your investment, all the appreciation, and all the debt pay down that's going on with it. You get to look and see, okay, what is working right now with people that have been in this business for a long time, and you got to build great relationships with them because you're giving them opportunities.
Correct.
And then from there, you decide what your strategy is. Then from there, when you pull yourself out of the business, that's when you decide what to do with the time that you have and what your passion is and what you really want to do. You want to build a 1,000-door portfolio? Go bananas, but build your cash machine first.
Right.
Build your cash machine first.
It's almost like, okay, look, and I use this example with my Astro community, and I want to bring it here to the hotline community to sort of let you wrap your head around it. But when we're first learning entrepreneurship, when we're first doing it, I liken it to being a caterpillar.
Yeah.
Right. You're crawling. You're crawling. You're just eating the leaf. You're on the ground. You might be eating a little bit of poo. Whatever it is, you're crawling. You're just crawling. You're crawling. Now, here's the thing, right? You don't get mad at a caterpillar for not flying. You don't, because it hasn't done it yet. It hasn't metamorphized yet. It hasn't changed. It hasn't become what it is going to be. Right. And so everybody that's in here right now that is crawling, you really got to accept and know that is a process. That is a stage, and you don't skip stages. You got to go caterpillar, chrysalis, butterfly. It is the stages. And when you're in that chrysalis stage, when you're incubating, when you're learning, when you're growing, when you're doing the things, and you're taking the action, you're spinning the silk, you're doing the work, you are changing. And then all of a sudden, guess what happens one day? It breaks open. And away you go, away you fly, because now you've got resources, now you've got time, now you've got still your brain and your opportunity and relationships and networks to go and do whatever the hell you want to do. So if you're looking at us saying, I don't want to be a wholesaler for the rest of my life, then start wholesaling. If you're looking at us and you're saying, I want to fix and flip houses, I love interior design, start wholesaling. If you're saying, I want to own 2,000 rental units and I want all the passive income that I could ever have, start wholesaling.
That's where you start. That's how you start building the momentum. So if you're having if you're just wondering, well, okay, that's all great, guys. That's like good mindset. That's a good plan there. But what do I actually go do? You can go out right now and you can go find properties that need investment, and you can go and talk to the property owner. You just call them up and ask them if they would consider an offer on their property. That's how you start building this up. Or you can go and you can look at properties that are listed on the market and look for the ones that have been on for a little bit, they're seasoned, and start making some lower offers on those properties as well. You just have to be proactive. You have to be wildly proactive in the beginning, because that's going to build the momentum in your business and build your pipeline of opportunities for sure.
Love it.
For sure. Guys, throw in your questions here. We are here to answer as many questions as we can. Might be a little bit shorter of a show today. Might just go for an hour. So we've got 45 minutes left to answer whatever questions that you guys have. And
if you got any wins, put them in the chat as well. We don't have a bell, but I'll definitely knock Brent on the head for you.
Perfect.
Watch it. You want to see somebody get their bell ring? Watch me knock Brent in the head and see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens.
Yeah. So I love it. We got all kinds of people here in the chat. Unicorn Realtors. We got creative finance people. We got sophisticated JV wholesalers in here. Gator lenders, private money lenders. Yes, this is live. Crypto Tanya. Of course, this is live. You think we'd waste our time with a pre-recorded version of this? My goodness, look at our background in here. We're in this really beautiful hotel in Tampa. I hate this hotel, by the way. It's my least favorite place. What else is here? Let's go.
Guys, also put in where you live and do business. This is all about squatting up. This is all about finding other people that are doing this business to help support you as you are that caterpillar growing and eating and doing and becoming a real business owner here, right? Connect with other people. Connect with people here.
Facebook user said, and I can't unfortunately put it on the screen, but it says, is it okay to target pre-foreclosures off of auction.com? So I wouldn't, okay, because auction.com, these are actually going to auction. These are trustees. So there's a way earlier opportunity for you to get that than before it even hits auction.com, right? So I would get a pre-foreclosure list and I would go directly to the homeowner, or I would, if they're working with an agent, go to the agent, but it's more likely that you're going to go directly to the homeowner, either through door knocking or skip tracing and calling them. But no, I think going to auction.com, you're going to be way past. I mean, that person's going to have been talked to by 10 other people and likely have had their deal under contract if it was one that somebody could have bought. So I think auction.com is waiting too long. All right.
Yeah, guys, you can pull so many different lists. You could probably get the pre-foreclosure list from a title company for free if you don't have a huge budget. You can certainly get it from the county recorder's office as soon as that hits, because it is public knowledge, and so you can get that list without having to spend a lot, for sure. Yep.
And Majesty Moon said, "This is why I joined this podcast, to be around people who get it." Absolutely, you are in one of the most incredible virtual networking events you could. Every Monday night, guys, 700, 800, 1,000 people come to Wholesale Hotline and network in the chat. Learn from each other, grow from each other, become each other's friends, network, do JV deals. This is the purpose. Scotty asks, is this the same Wholesale Hotline in the Subto course? Yes, sir.
That's right. Pace is downstairs somewhere. I think he's got a meetup or something today.
Yeah, he's at a meetup. I am here, and then you and I are going to go downstairs and we're going to join the meetup as they're bringing the after party to us, since we couldn't make it to them. Jesse said submitted 2 deals today. Amazing, Jesse. Congrats.
There you go.
Jorge said, what do you think about buying a house for a holding in Cleveland, Ohio? I think Cleveland, Ohio is a phenomenal market. I think that it's got great potential for rental, but this is what I think. It's a low appreciation, low demand market, meaning you're only going to get cash flow in a market like that. Very little appreciation. So know this, in real estate, there's so many different ways to monetize it, right? You get appreciation, you get cash flow, you get depreciation. And so when you're talking about a low price market like Cleveland, you're not going to get a lot of depreciation there because the property values are low, right? So you're not going to get a ton of depreciation. You're not going to get a bunch of appreciation there because the markets don't have a lot of demand. And so the prices are not going up the way that they are in other high demand markets. So you're going to get cash flow. Now, if you're going to get cash flow and only cash flow, your cash flow has to be significantly better than what you would get in a high demand, high appreciation market. So what does that look like? In a high appreciation, high demand market, if you're looking for cash flow, you got to be the 1%, meaning for every $100,000 you spend, you should be getting $1,000 a month in gross rents. But in a low demand, low appreciation area like Cleveland, Ohio, you should be at 2%, meaning for every $100,000 you spend, you should be getting $2,000 a month in gross cash flow. Hope that helped.
Yeah, and you want to be looking for multifamily, I would think, in those areas, because the cash flow really is important. And the fact is, I mean, you could Google it right now. You can look at what the just operating costs, just the wear and tear on a normal property, what the cost is a year. It's usually about $3,500 to $5,000. So if you go and you get $200, $300 in cash flow, You get nothing. It's net zero, and it's a headache.
Yeah.
And now you've got a property, especially if you don't live in the city that you're buying these properties in. It's a huge trap that a lot of people fall into, that they go, oh my gosh, I can go buy a property in Cleveland and it's only like $80,000. I could never buy something like that in San Diego or Phoenix or Austin or whatever else. But it's going to be $80,000 for the next 10 years.
Yeah. You know what there's no list of? Tired wholesalers.
Right.
You know what there's not a list of? Tired flippers.
Right.
You know what there is a list of?
Tired landlords.
You know why? Because it's tiring. AF. Hey, big shout out to MGM23 for closing that deal and making $54,000. High five, Brent. Boom. Well done. That's the bell you get today, guys.
You get high fives.
You get high
between
fives.
two buds.
Brianna Mason said, I had an agent text back asking if she would get her commission working with us, because the last person she worked with ghosted her and went direct to seller and ran. Oh my goodness. What do you think about stuff like that, Brent?
I hate it.
Yeah, it's dumb, right?
You are ruining a relationship. Yeah, not only that, but you have a bad reputation at that point. You know what I mean? You're just building a bad reputation. And I'm telling you, being in this for years and years, 2002, 2004, it's a small pool.
I can walk into
it's
any
a
room.
Small pool. You can walk into any room and feel confident. Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Because I know that I'm never going behind. So I want other people to make as much as they can and build their business as much as possible. And that always comes back to you. So if somebody's like sneaking behind, it's just the wrong way to do business. So don't do that.
Let's, Richie Rick asked, how do I get started in real estate? Brent, give him a 30-second elevator pitch.
Go out, I'll tell you what I did. Okay. I went out into an area where I know investors wanted to buy because it was older. It had smaller houses on bigger lots, and the price point was fantastic. It was right in the median to higher median price point. And I went and talked to all of the property owners that I could see that hadn't completely renovated their house. And that's how I started building up opportunities. And literally, I would just drive down the street with a pad of paper and a pen and write it down. Now you could get a ton of different apps. There's a ton of different driving for dollars apps that you can use. And then you just start building that up. And then you need to be brave. You need to go to batch skip tracing. You get the phone number for the property, call them up and see if they would consider an offer. See if they've made the decision that they're going to sell that property. And that's how you start really, building up those opportunities. Yep.
Scott W. asked, Jamil, is your proof of funds back up? Very soon. I'm so close. I've gotten one opinion letter back from an attorney, and it was all good. They absolutely agreed that I was doing nothing but being helpful. And since I did have the $1 million in the account at all times, the proof of funds was always legit and always real. So you know what? Bigger pockets can suck it. On we go.
Peace. Love it. Ugly houses, baby. That's it. I'm just telling you, there is opportunities everywhere, guys. There are way more properties than there is us, and there's way more money than there are deals. So we've got this perfect opportunity here. It is the perfect opportunity. You don't have to have a huge budget. You don't have to have a ton of experience, but what you should do is connect with somebody that's a few steps ahead of you in this group right now, in the market that you're in, so that they can walk you through, because you might get a little bit timid. You might get a little bit nervous that you don't really know the full process. Work with somebody that does know the full process, can hold your hand throughout the transaction so that you get that deal across the finish line. And then it's just that's the whole thing. It's not education plus action equals results. It's the action and the results are your education. There's no more theory, guys. There's no more books to read. There's no more podcasts to listen to. There's no more YouTube channels to watch. It is just going out and having conversations and making offers every single day. Every single day. So today, Jamil, in the Rhino Tribe was Empty the Clip, where it was a challenge to talk to 100 new property owners today. Awesome. Every time somebody completes that, they get a deal. Every time. Yep. It's just a numbers game. Yep. I mean, it's absolutely just a numbers game. So if you're like, okay, I want to kickstart my month off right, I'm going to talk to 100 people today, which, by the way, takes all day and is exhausting. And at the end of it, like, oh my gosh, you're just tapped out. But man, could you imagine?
Well, do that and then use like curated data.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know you're about to unleash onto the Rhino Tribe.
Yep.
Curated, like really, really good data. I've been able to take cost per contract on direct to seller from cold calling from $3,000 a contract to $187.
Don was telling me that you like got a couple deals just from calling.
Live. I was literally sitting there because you know how I am. I'm always smashing on direct to seller, right? Yeah. But we started doing it at Keegley and it starts working, right? So then I'm like, oh God, now I got to eat all this shit. So anyhow, we start.
Welcome to the dark side.
Right. So I get and I'm like, you guys got to convince me. You got to convince me that this isn't going to like drain money from people.
Yep.
And they did.
Yep.
And then so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna actually go live. So there's no way for me to stage it. There's no way for me to. Nobody can say, oh, this has to be like a show. So I just got a list.
He's just calling his mom.
Yeah, I just got a list, dude, and I went and I went and
what was the list you called?
It was the curated list, right?
The AI
curated list, and then we went down from dude, in literally 20 minutes, I had 3 of the most quality conversations. Yep. I had 2 seller leads and 1 buyer lead out of that 20 minutes.
Yep.
Bro, if you did 100 calls of that, what would happen?
Game over. Yeah. I love it.
Think about that.
Guys, just so that you guys know, this show is in a few different spots. So if you see it and there's only, a handful of people that you see there, there's a huge amount. I mean, we've got 600 people on here. Comment in the chat. You might not be able to get everybody, but at least let everybody know where you're at and where you're doing business. All right.
Lenny asked, at what point do you send a JV agreement to title to prevent the wholesaler from going around you? Okay. So, all right. So let's think. Let me unpack this. You are JVing with another wholesaler who is direct to seller, and you have found a buyer. That's what I'm assuming is happening here. Yep. And you're worried that the wholesaler is going to go around you to your buyer, or is that the wholesaler going to go around you to your seller? That's one of the two things. Here's the thing that I would say. I believe that when I'm in a JV agreement when I'm doing a JV with somebody, I'm going to assume that everybody is going to work in the spirit of the deal. Okay. I'm not going to assume that people are going to go around me. People are going to go take my buyer. I'm not going to start the relationship off like that. I'm going to start the relationship expecting that if I'm working with Brent, if Brent has a deal under contract and I JV with him and I sell it to my buyer, I'm gonna respect the fact that Brent is not gonna go hopscotch me, go directly to my buyer and cut me out the deal. That's not. He can do that one time. He can do that one time before our relationship is broken and we never do business again. So my point to say here is that have a little bit more faith. Work with people in this community because Lenny, I'll tell you what. You're not going to get treated like that from TTP people. You're not going to get treated like that from Astro community. You're not going to get treated like that from the subto community. You're going to be nurtured. You're going to be helped, and they're going to want to see you win. So assume that everybody is there to your benefit and everybody's there to help you.
Do you think Lenny's helping sell this deal and another wholesaler has it and they're actively trying to find their own buyers, but Lenny also has a buyer? He's worried that the wholesaler is going to sell it before his buyer.
Well, if that happens, it happens. Right. If that happens, your buyer's too slow, right? At the end of the day, when you are JVing, the way that I work with my JV partners, I say, listen, it's dog and a bone energy for you. It's dog and a bone energy for me. You go as hard as you can to sell your deal because if I can't sell it, I don't want you calling me in a week saying, I couldn't sell my deal because of you. I'm going to go sell my ass off on this deal as well. And I'm going to come to you. And if I got a buyer before you do, you're taking my deal. Don't mess around. And that's how we roll.
Your focus needs more focus. I like that, Ryan. That is awesome.
So MGM said he's in a deal where, he's about to make $60,000, but the buyer found out how much he was going to make. And this is why you want to use transactional funding. When you're doing a deal and you're making $60,000, bro, pay the point. Pay the point. Do transactional funding. Double close that. Don't let the people let greed derail a deal that you're making $60,000 on, brother. Don't do that, man. No. Use transactional funding or double close, but doing assignments on a $60,000 profit margin, in my opinion, I think you're putting way too much. You're putting way too much out there because look, at the end of the day, I was in a deal where I paid a $75,000 assignment fee. Okay. Now, I consider myself one of the best wholesalers ever.
Of
right?
course.
Here I was signing this deal, as I'm looking at the $75,000 signing fee. I'm going, right?
Yeah.
It's making me feel sick. And
Yeah.
I'm like, bitch, you do this to people all day long.
Right.
This is what your business is,
Yeah.
right? So I say this to say, it'll get the best of the best. So why have that be a variable?
Yep.
Why have it be a variable? You got $60,000 on the line here, bro. Don't assign it. What do you?
I
know you
close
assign
it.
everything.
No. I close them.
Or you close them.
I close them.
Okay.
A couple different reasons.
Okay.
Number one, I don't want there to be. I want to close if it's a big deal, $50K plus. I want to close it as quick as possible and give the seller a post possession because I want to own it. I don't want anything getting wiggly. I don't want anything going crazy. I want to close it as soon as possible so that I own that property. I'll deal with all the, deal with the property owner and getting them out, and post possession usually goes very, very smoothly. And one, it just makes sure that nothing slips through in the transaction. Two, I don't want somebody, seeing that property, going to the property owner saying, hey, look at this deal, look at this deal, look at this deal. I can give you more for this property, which happens in our market because there's a lot of desperate people out there that their lead generation is your email blast.
Yep.
They're right.
Well, I mean, I know the names of three.
I know. So I don't want anything to screw that up. So we close on a lot.
I love that. I love that. And if you guys don't have the money that Brent Daniels has, use mine.
There you go.
It's there for you. It's there for you to close the deal.
There you go.
Right. So on we go.
Where do they find the money?
Nathan, you go to flipcashtoday.com, flipcashtoday.com, and we would happily fund your deal. Now, Nathan Barnes says, how late would you cold call? What would you say to that?
I usually, my rule of thumb was always when the sun's up, go for it. Right.
Yep.
So it's kind of seasonal in that because obviously the sun goes down a lot sooner, the later in the year. But I would always try to get it done in the morning. Yeah. I would. Now, if you don't have the opportunity to get it done in the morning, then you got to fit it in. But you got to set it aside as sacred time. You got to let everybody know that this is the time that you're going to be hunting for opportunities, that you're building your business. Because if everybody's not on board and it's not set aside as sacred, life's responsibilities will torpedo your consistency. And that's what this is all about. It's about discipline and consistency. That's it. Discipline and consistency to just do the same thing over and over and over. And that's having conversations and making offers.
William Burton asked, as a beginner, should I put conditions in my offer? As a beginner, you should be putting conditions in your offers almost always, even as an expert. William, here's the deal, right? You never know what is actually happening versus what somebody's telling you. Right. And I've had a lot of conversations with homeowners before where they're like, they represent a property as a specific way, or a real estate agent will represent a properties. I've had deals where I bought it from a wholesaler. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say his name, but one of our local guys. Yeah. Mosh Mayman. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. Is he still around?
Oh, I kind of. Yeah. This guy sells me a deal on Utopia Street, right?
Okay.
Tells me it's a 3-bed, 2-bath, right? Turns out it's a 2-bed, 1-bath. Says, listen, you just got to buy it, close it. I can't let you into the house until after closing because of that, right? Yep. And I'm like, okay, it's a great deal. So we buy it, we close it. Come to find out, it's a 2-bed, 1-bath.
It's missing a bedroom and bathroom.
And a bathroom, right? And guess where he is?
He's on the beach.
He's running away. He's like, sorry. So
he's out of there.
So you should always have conditions in your offer just to make sure that you're getting what you're getting, that you have an out if you need an out. And also as a wholesaler, it gives you the opportunity to find your exit.
Yep. Majesty Moon asks, B&J, what's your morning routine
I'm glad
like?
They put an and in there.
Yeah, with the heart. How did you get set up for the day? What's your morning routine?
My morning routine, I get up always 3 hours before my first appointment. Okay. So before I got to go. Now, if my first appointment is at 8 o'clock, that means I'm getting up at 5.
Yep.
If my first appointment is at 7, that means I'm getting up at 4. But I give myself 3 hours before I have anything to do, right? So I get up, first thing I do, I set my intention. Before I open my eyes, I set an intention and I say a prayer in my head.
Yep.
And then I open my eyes, right? After that, I drink a liter of water typically.
Oh, a liter.
A full
Are
liter.
we in Canada?
Well, I'm metric. Yeah. What is a liter in your guys' maths?
Let's just say like a quarter of a gallon.
A quarter gallon. Why not just say a liter? So I drink a liter of water, a big Fiji. I drink that big Fiji. You know the big Fiji. I drink a big Fiji. Right. I have my vitamins.
Yep.
Then I drink my cup of coffee.
Yep.
Okay. Then I got you got to do your morning business. You get your morning business done, and then it's right up to the elliptical machine and the weights. I hop out my hour and a half of exercise. Finish that. Jump into the shower. I clean myself before I then meditate. I meditate for half an hour to an hour, depending on how much time I got left. And that's
in your room.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's how I get my day and my life started. What about you?
Get up at 6:30, right to the shower. Just get in the shower right away. I just love it. And I just, I'm kind of setting up my whole day in the shower, just kind of relaxing, getting moving, move around, get going. The blood flowing. The kids are up. You know what I mean? The kids are up and going. So making some breakfast. Protein shake, 4 scoops, 80 grams of protein in the morning, creatine. I do some lion's mane mushroom like thing, some vitamins, and rock and roll. And then I take a pre-workout as like a caffeine in the morning.
Yeah.
Then I'm off and running. So then I'm taking either Seamus to school or I'm taking Bo to school. And then I'm usually heading to the office. Awesome. So I'm at the office about 8:30ish.
How regimented is your morning?
Pretty clean. I mean, that's Monday through Friday for sure. Yeah.
And how is it? Do you negotiate with any of these things? Like, how often will you not work out, or how often will you not?
So I have a trainer 3 days a week.
Yep.
So I make sure that I do that because one, I want that accountability. Like I would feel bad if I didn't show up.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but I work out at 11 o'clock and then noon. So Mondays is 11, noon on Tuesdays, Thursdays. Because I don't like a really packed gym.
Right.
And nobody's there during the middle of the day and my body's warmed up. I've already got my morning stuff done, get the workout in, and then on with the day.
Okay, cool.
On with the afternoon, I should say.
Love that. There you go, guys. Everybody does it differently, but everybody does the same things, right? We take care of our minds, our bodies, our soul, our spirits, and we make sure that we're lubricated. We make sure that we've got blood pumping, going in the body, so that we can go out and do the thing. Any prayer?
You have to listen. Yeah. I mean, usually in the shower, I'm just. It's like more of a gratitude type thing. You know what I mean? Like just setting the day right with, and not. I'm not, thumping my chest or anything. I'm not going crazy, but I'm there. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a fantastic day. This is going to be the best day ever. Then you go bananas. Yep. What's the percentage of your fee could be taken if you double close? So what's the lowest assignment fee to consider when going that route? That's a great. I would say probably the average for closing is what do you think? 2,500, $3,000, depending on the price point.
2,500 to 4,000. So it doesn't make sense if you're making 10 or 15 grand, or maybe even 20 grand. It doesn't make sense to double close. But I think once you pass $20,000, I think that's when you should start thinking about it. Should this be a double close? Also, if you're in a market like, say, Cleveland, and the house is $60,000, but you're making a $20,000 assignment fee, that's like a third of what the property value is.
Yeah.
You probably want to double close that. Right. So different markets are going to have different closing costs. California, one of the worst places to double close, because closing costs in California are very oppressive. Even if you have $20,000 or $30,000, you might lose $10,000 or $15,000 in closing costs. So it doesn't make sense in a market like that. So it's market by market. The lower the cost of the market, the more sensible it is to double close and use transactional funding. The higher the cost of the market, the more double closing will cost you. But that's when transactional funding gets better, because if you're doing a transactional funding, it's only 1 point, right? As opposed to all the closing costs and all the closing costs rolling over. So that would take off a bunch of your money.
Yeah. I think that there's some huge advantages to going into markets that require a real estate license and just close on all of those deals. I mean, wholesaling, remember, is the art of finding these opportunities, this potential. That's what it is. And so, people talk about, well, what happens if you need to get licensed? what happens if there's more regulation, what happens if there's more oversight. That would be amazing.
Right.
That would be so amazing if that happened, because there would be so many more transactional lenders than I mean, the market's going to go with what we do. We initiate everything, guys. We are the pacing item of our whole industry are the people and the companies that source the deals. That's the absolute fact. Everybody gets paid because we go out there and we find these deals. So, I mean, have a lot of pride in what you do. I know Jamil does. I know I do. I know that your whole company does. I mean,
yep.
You franchise it all over the country. You know what I mean? Because it's just, this is how you build up your experience and build up your business and build up a cash machine that's going to fund everything else.
Lucas Curran asked, how do I show my buyers a property if I'm virtual? What do you do?
Yeah, you got a couple different opportunities. I mean, one, it just depends on what's the discussion that you're having with the property owner. What expectations have you set with them for people coming in and inspecting and seeing the property? So one, you got to have that conversation with the property owner so that they know what to expect. Listen, in 2 days, it's going to be a circus. I'm going to bring everybody through your house and then we'll be out of your hair. So I need a 2-hour window. Does noon to 2 o'clock work on Thursday? Is that okay? Right? That's the kind of conversations that you're having with the property owners. And then, what are they? Most times they're going to say, yeah, no problem. You know what I mean? No problem, because you set the expectation. Now, if you don't say anything and 20 people show up to the property,
you're in trouble.
The property owner is not going to be happy. What I would also do is I would get some boots on the ground, whether that be a real estate agent, whether that be another wholesaler, whether it be just somebody that you trust, that you find in that market, to take really good pictures, really good video, and go and be real personal with that property owner. That helps as well.
The other thing that I made a YouTube video about it a few years ago, and I call it my cinnamon roll approach.
Yeah.
Right. And this is when I want to do, when I'm going to have like multiple showings and I know it's going to be a circus, what I'll do is I'll actually go and I'll tell the seller, like, hey, I'm going to be at your house.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring contractors, financial partners, potential lender, maybe an insurance person. So many different people are going to come through in that day.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little bit chaotic.
Yeah.
What's your favorite dessert? You like cinnamon rolls? How do you take your coffee?
Cookies.
How do you take your coffee, right?
Yeah,
and they're like,
exactly.
it's like, okay, then I show up and I bring the seller cinnamon rolls. I bring them a coffee and I say, listen, it might be even better for you to take a walk if you want to take a walk while this is all happening, or you can hang out, whatever you like, but it's going to get pretty boring and I'm going to get into the weeds with these guys. So why don't you just go take a walk for a little bit and enjoy that cinnamon roll? And I'm telling you, man, it diffuses everything and it makes people feel so good. And they've got the sweets in their mouth and they're happy. It's the easiest way to butter people up.
Love it. Yeah. Tracy Ritchie out of Amarillo, Texas. She brings cookies every time, crumble cookies. Just crushes.
It's the trick. It's the trick.
She's incredible.
It is.
Shout out Tracy.
Laurel Bartholomew says, hey, I'm trying to get my, she's doing a texting. I imagine it's Astro Blaster she's working on, but because she hasn't gotten her A2P registration confirmed yet for Twilio, she's been said that she should probably start, so she's not behind the 8 ball, manually texting realtors, but she doesn't know how to initiate the conversation. So Laurel, here's the deal, right? When you're going to have initial conversation with a real estate agent, first and foremost, you want to let them know who you are and what you want, right? So, hi, I'm Laurel. I am desperately looking for an agent to represent me in finding a house that needs a lot of work. I'm looking for something that is in original condition or needing a tremendous amount of renovation. Do you have anything like that I can talk to you about in the next little while? And that is a great opener. That gives the agent all the information they need as to who you are, what you're looking for, what your name is, and that you're not a robot or spam.
Yep.
Now the agent will respond. If they don't respond, say, hey, sorry, is this who I think it is? Is this Brent Daniels from North & Co? Sorry if it's not. I didn't mean to bother you. Now they're like getting the guilt. They're like, man, I am a realtor, right? I should be responding to this message. What the hell is wrong with me? And so, Laurel, the key here is to be a human being, right? Now, I said it that way. You may not use that language, but the language should identify who you are. It should identify what you're looking for. and it should identify the incentive to the person you're talking to. So the incentive being, I would love for you to represent me in finding an opportunity, because now the agent's hearing cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Hope that helped.
I like this question here. William asks, are you telling property owners that you are a wholesaler? It's in the contract.
Yep.
It's in the contract. Well, it's really important for the property owner to understand that we're investors and we're going to make a profit from this property. One of the ways to make a profit is to sell the opportunity to buy this property to another investor.
Correct.
That's it. And if they have problems with it, guys, close the deal. Use transactional funding. He's right here. Look at his face. He would love to give you money.
I have $20 million
He would
sitting in
love
the bank
to give
waiting
you
for
money.
you guys to use it, and y'all ain't using it.
So if they do have but it's a beautiful way to pull out the objection. That's why I love disclosing as much as possible up front, because if they have a problem with it, you can always have something in your back pocket, which is you funding the deal.
Right.
So they could be like, I don't want you assigning this. I don't even know what that means. I don't understand what wholesaling. I don't understand this verbiage in the purchase agreement. Great. Let's cross that out.
Yep.
I'll initial it. You initial it, and we'll just close it traditionally. Close it with cash.
My favorite disclosure statement, right? It's common sense, right? Guys, write this down. Write this statement.
It's in his
down.
Instagram too.
I'm telling you, this is the most epic disclosure statement you will ever use in wholesale or real estate investing at all. And it goes like this. No. Okay. Buyer is an LLC in the business of buying and selling property for a profit. Okay,
Boom.
First and foremost, let's unpack that for a second. Why are companies formed?
To make a profit.
To make a profit. And my business is buying and selling real estate for a profit. Buyer may elect to buy and hold, fix and flip, or wholesale the contract at buyer's sole discretion.
Yep.
All rights reserved. Boom. That's it. And now the person's looking at this and saying, oh, that's common sense.
Yep.
This is an LLC, of course. And what are these things here? Fix and flip, buy and hold, wholesale. Yeah, that's how you make money. Cool. Done.
Or they go, let me have my attorney review this. Okay, your attorney reviews it. And the attorney goes, well, we don't want you to assign the contract.
No problem.
Great.
Strike
Cross it out.
Yep.
Cross it out. I've got the funds. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm sitting like downstairs. We're in the penthouse suite here in Jamil's room on the 12th floor. And there's literally a room downstairs full of people that have unlimited funds to lend for our industry. Unlimited.
As I was standing in that hallway, right? I no word of a lie.
Yeah.
I probably had $100 million offered to me by people in there that just want to be in my world, that just want to do deals with me, that just want to be able to say, I'm doing deals with this guy. Here's $10 million. It's like, dude,
you just got here. I've had it for 2 days. It's been wild. It's wild. And guys, we're not exclusive in this thing. And it's not because, that we have YouTube channels and coaching, and we like, this is for everybody.
Yes.
They're trying to use us to tell everybody about their money, their services, their businesses.
Hey, bro, I got $100 million and you got a voice. Can you go tell everybody that there's money here?
Yep.
There's money here. There's just money being ready to be given out to people who can find opportunities. Like, that's what it looks like.
Yep.
Tyler McLeod, go to www.flipcashtoday.com. Flipcashtoday.com. That's how you do it.
And guys, listen, here's the thing. What we do as wholesalers is, again, we find the opportunity, and then based on what is going on in the mind of the seller and their situation, are they okay with this assigning it? If not, then boom, we'll close it. You get it closed. So, I mean, there's really we get paid for finding the opportunities. We get paid for finding the potential. Everything else can be solved. So just focus. Just focus on finding those opportunities. You got to be really proactive, or get to the point where you've got enough funds that you can do marketing. You can do pay-per-click. You can do Facebook ads. You can do text message marketing. You can do, you could buy Privy and find properties that are on the market. You can do all of these things. But nothing happens unless you're having a conversation with the property owner or somebody that represents the property owner. So just remember that. Remember, the whole industry is built for us to win because we feed everybody else.
Amen.
We feed everybody else.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. Fly boy. Listen, first, I love you. Okay. Fly boy. Okay.
Why?
I love you, fly boy.
Why?
Fly boy says, sounds like foie gras, right?
Yeah.
Fly boy says, most of the time when the agency assignment costs me the deal most of the time. Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. And please take this with as much kindness as possible. Okay. That means that you've probably done this one time.
Yeah.
Because when people say to me every time or most of the time, it means that they've done it this many times. Statistically, it's not possible for that to happen most of the time. Statistically, most agents don't care. Statistically, maybe that happened on one deal because you kind of fumbled it and maybe you were sketchy and maybe you weren't answering the phone and maybe you didn't put EMD in and there could have been so many things that went wrong. But the assignment, my brother, is not going to be the reason why a deal falls apart. Okay, a deal falls apart because there was red flags throughout the process and you didn't have enough communication through the process to keep people feeling comfortable about working with you. I promise you, brother, I promise you, it's not the assignment, it was your process.
Yeah. Do you do the earnest money deposit after inspection or before inspection, and how is it done virtually? Leverage the buyer. I always deposit right away. That's just we send in the consideration as quick as possible, the earnest money as quick as possible, just because it gives the seller another touch point. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. They know the title companies, and we have our title companies reach out and let them know, notify them that the earnest deposit is in, and they're feeling it anchors them even more, and they're like, okay, this is real. They know what they're doing. They're moving forward. This is great.
Yep.
So we always do it right away. I just wouldn't play the game of, hey, let me just leverage the buyer's earnest funds and not put it in myself.
Listen, if you're in a situation where you don't have EMD, right? Okay. Yes. Have people done that before? I've done that before, where I leveraged my buyer's EMD to put it in, where I said to the agent, hey, look, I'm not going to deposit this EMD until after I know if I'm going to purchase this property. And then I assign the deal, and then my buyer puts the EMD in, and then my EMD is secured. I've done that before. But I don't know if you guys have realized that Pace Morby has put together this incredible thing where he has empowered thousands of people to loan you EMD, right? If you don't, you have no excuse. You have no excuse to not put EMD down when there's 1,000 gators out there that'll do that deal for you.
If you're in Gator, put a little Gator in the chat so everybody knows.
There's no excuse not to put up EMD. There's way too many people out here with money that want to give you EMD.
By the way, it's negotiable too.
Yes.
You know, I mean, obviously, if you're going to be working with, not obviously, but if you're working with a real estate agent, they're going to typically want 1%. So I understand if that's heftier than if you're just working directly with the property owner and they're fine with $10 or $100 or $1 or $0. It just depends on what you agree to up front. So as long as the expectations are met up front, then it usually goes really smooth.
Scott W. said, Jamil, if your student wasn't around or you weren't able to help, and they wanted to figure out what percentage of ARV to offer on a San Francisco house in each market cycle time, what would be the best way? Scott, the best way would be to squat up with somebody, because here's the deal, right? What percentage of ARV to offer on a property is going to be dependent on neighborhood, is going to be dependent on condition, is going to be dependent on a few things. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be some parts of San Francisco where you can go up to 80%, 85% of ARV. There's going to be parts of San Francisco where, like, you can't do that. You're going to need to be at like 70, 72% of ARV. Mm-hmm. There's going to be parts of San Francisco that are so rough that you're going to need to do a full gut remodel, that you're going to need to be in at 65% of ARV. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, I'm not in San Francisco, right? And so I'm going to be giving you the best information that I can based off of the knowledge that I have in the market. But your best bet would be to reach out to a Keegley franchise in San Francisco, to reach out to a Wholesale Hotline viewer in San Francisco, talk to a TTP student in San Francisco, talk to a subto or Astro Flipping student in San Francisco, and connect with them to get the market research that you need. Next, Privy has one of the most incredible features in it. It's called the fix and flip feature, which will actually tell you what percentage of ARV rehabbers are buying properties in specific markets. So if you don't have Privy yet, go to runprivy.com and beat yourself over the head with that, because I'm telling you that all this market research is already done for you. Love you.
Love it. There was a look at Kimberly submitted 4 offers today. Boom. That's a 5 there.
Yeah.
Boom.
let's
Great
go.
job.
Let's
Great
go.
job. That's absolutely incredible. Keep it going. Now get those accepted and then get those deals sold.
It's AK just said, just closed on my first sub-2 deal last week with 2 partners, and we will be cash flowing $4,000 a month after all expenses. I'm 23 years old, and I have been in this for 2 years. There you go,
Come
AK.
on.
Well done, my man. Good job.
Is that what an AK sounds like?
It sounds like it. Get the chopper. It's so good. On we go. You guys are awesome. Sorry, I'm not disengaged. I'm just looking at the chat on my phone here.
I think there's some gators in here.
Gators.
Look at all these.
Gator. There
you go. So there's your earnest money, guys. There's your earnest money right there. Make sure that you connect with somebody there. And if you're a gator on there, remember that the more the more active you are at communicating with anybody that reaches out to you, the more business you're going to do. It might seem like that's obvious, but I would say the number one complaint in our business is lack of communication. Over communicate. Don't leave people on red. Respond. I'm telling you, I think, and this is something that I think that you're probably, I wouldn't even say probably, I think hands down the best in the business is at responding.
Big time.
Fast.
Absolutely.
I mean, you were going.
Obsessed.
I mean, when you were in the heat of it, when you were really getting acquisitions, you were the fastest at responding. You were the fastest at getting an offer. You were the fastest at calling. You're the fastest at getting earnest money in. You were the fastest at making sure that everything was set up. And that's really, I mean, I think that was like your like cheat code for building Keegley.
For real.
Was the speed at which you were able to respond. So everybody on here, if somebody reaches out to you and you're like, and you don't respond, like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? And respond fast and be positive and be optimistic and be like, let's make some money. Let's go and find some deals. Let's build some businesses. I want to help you out as much as possible. I am telling you, being positive and enthusiastic and having conviction for this business is like 90% of it. The rest of it is just, making sure that you're getting in front of enough people. So
J. Pierre asked, what if I find a new build, but they haven't been able to find a buyer yet? That is not, I want to explain the piece to you in this, right? What we do in wholesale is we look for potential. A new build would have how much potential?
Not a lot of potential, guys.
Why? Because the juice is squeezed.
It's like you ever see like a really nice old muscle car, but it's like been in a carport outside for years and years, and the tires are destroyed, and the interior leather is ripped and cracked, and the steering wheel is all beat up and thin and gross and falling apart. Those are the ones that you find opportunities with getting that car and flipping it, not the brand new one that's sitting at the dealership.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
They're not going to sell this thing for there's no potential.
There's no potential. There's no way to force appreciation either, because it's already had all of its forced appreciation done. The land was improved to a new construction build. Yep. That's it. The appreciation has occurred.
And I think something that you're really good at being loud about is, guys, we talk about like, oh, we get this deal at 50 cents on the dollar, 40 cents on the dollar, 60 cents on the dollar. It's not really the fact. No. We get it for what it's worth in its condition, in that condition right there. Remember, buyers determine value, not the government, not the banks, not real estate agents, not even the seller. The seller certainly does not determine value, or every seller would think that their property is worth millions and millions and millions. Only a ready, willing, and able buyer determines the value. So don't go into this whole thing. Oh, you're getting these things at this huge discount and and stealing equity and everything. No. It's these properties are worth what they're worth in this condition. That's what it's worth. It's worth what it is to you. What are you willing to put that property under contract for? And how much do you deserve to be paid for that opportunity to give it to somebody else? And if nobody else wants your deal, guess what? You have the chance to buy it yourself or renegotiate with the property owner.
Charles Madden said, can we comp a deal? We're going to do that before we end. Charles, put that address in the chat right now. And if we can do it right now, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Put it in. Let's go.
Yeah. Tisha, absolutely right. I love that Jerry Norton's saying this. He made a video that owning rentals won't give you cash flow. It's for after you're already wealthy. Yeah, how to avoid. It's actually after you're already rich. Rentals make you wealthy. It's a vehicle for protecting your wealth is truly what real estate is really about. If you really get to the nitty gritty of it, there's not a tremendous amount of people that live off of their cash flow. If you're living off of the cash flow of your rentals, you're going to have some big problems.
Somebody said comp one for me as well. Whoever gets an address in the chat first is going to get their property comp. That's it. Okay. Let's go. Whoever's going to get in there. Is it Morion? Is it the other? Let's go. Okay. Charles got it. Yeah. 101 Dalamere Road, Staten Island. Let's see. 101 Dalamere Road, Staten Island. Let's see if I can I go live on this? Oh crap.
I don't think so. We locked out.
I don't know what happened. Oops. Oh, geez.
We're like too old. Like the old couple.
I know. Jack Lemmon and what is it? Jack Lemmon and that other old bastard.
There you go.
Okay. Walter Matthau. That was his name, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Grumpy Old Men.
Grumpy Old Men. Yeah, that's a great one. All right. So we had 101 Dalamere Road.
Dalamere, Staten Island. Staten Island. Interesting. All right. Charles, how much do they want? Remember, like, guys, make sure that you're having conversations with the property owners before you do research. I don't mind if you want to comp some stuff just to get the reps, just to get better at it, but it's even you're going to learn a lot faster if you're having conversations with the property owner and understanding what their expectation is for what they want for that property. And listen, oftentimes people are going to throw out prices just to see where you're at. So you don't have to just assume because they wanted a higher price that they won't come down. We negotiate prices that are, the expectation is 50, 60, 70, 100,000 higher than what they actually settle on with us. So make sure that you're really building your negotiation skills. All right. Best way to do that is to do that.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
So this property that was placed in the chat, we've got a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,090 square foot house in Staten Island, New York, listed at $849,000. Okay,
been on the market.
Been on the market 166 days. Only been viewed 725 times and only saved 14 times, which tells you what market rejected the price.
Yes.
Okay, that means it's way overpriced. In addition to, I want you to pay attention to this. The last price cut was for $1,000.
Oh.
Okay, what does this tell you?
Yeah.
What does this tell you about who this seller is? What does this tell you about this agent? The seller has no motivation, and this agent has no backbone.
Mm-hmm.
This agent has no ability to control their client, to tell their client where this property needs to be priced.
Do you know what that agent's doing? That agent has that listing to get buyer calls.
Yeah, of course. That's
so
it.
Find buyers
they know this is a waste of time.
To do open houses.
Exactly. Yep. This is a waste of time.
Yep.
Anyhow, let's look at it anyways because you brought it to the table. So seeing it built in 1945, sitting on a 4,800 square foot lot, I'm now looking at the comps. And what can I find? Right? We've got, for that square footage, okay, you're at 849. I've got a renovated 1,500 square foot house that just sold for $715. Renovated 1,500 square feet. I've got another renovated 1,300 square feet that sold for $810. Now, where should this property actually be priced? Let me tell you that. Okay, if we're at $715 for larger, that means your ARV on this thing is probably not even 700. Maybe a little lower than that. So then where do you need to buy it at? Right? Because this thing needs work. So where would you need to buy this at? In Staten Island, I'd probably say you got to be at 65% of ARV for that, right? If it's cosmetic. So look, if 700 is they're $150,000 above ARV, 150 grand above ARV,
and it's not fixed up.
No, it's not fixed up. And I'm looking here. I'm looking at all of the availables here. Right? There's nothing to show. There is nothing to show at that size because you've only got 1,000 square feet here. You've got one sale that was $1 million, but there's no photos. There's one on Delaware Street, but there's no photos, so that I can't even tell you if this was a real comp or not, right? Because there's no photos to show. So my opinion, dude, this is what has he got? ARV 670. Yeah, I mean, I said about 700 offer. Yeah, I don't think they're wrong. I was gonna tell you 500 grand. I'm a little bit less conservative, I would say, but I think the real hungry investor got it nailed.
Yep.
There you have it, guys. What else do we got to say to the people?
That's awesome. Guys, just focus on conversations and offers. Just focus on hunting. Focus on income producing activities. Income producing activities 80% of the time. Even if you're doing this part-time, you got to find 20 hours a week to commit to this business. And 16 of those 20 hours should be hunting for deals. Nobody's going to pay you for research. Nobody's going to pay you to get like every part of the process mapped out, but not done, right? You get paid for providing value. We go and solve the problems of these property owners, and we match them up with people that want to invest in those areas, in those communities. So just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
I'm just telling you. We both got the Nikes on.
Just
right?
do it.
We both got them.
Just do it. Oh, I have those at home too. Yeah. I got the Air Forces right now. Check these out. I got the high top Air Forces. Look at them. Look at them. Look at them.
I love them.
Those are cool, right?
I love them.
Hey guys, listen to this. I do comping. I comp every week or so on my YouTube channel, and I love doing different markets and looking at funny or crazy properties. If you haven't already, go check out my YouTube channel and let's comp some houses. So leave me a comment. Tell me where you want me to comp. DM me. Tell me, hey, this would be a cool house for you to comp on your YouTube channel, and I'll do it.
Guys, do not miss out on anything that Pace, Jamil, myself, or Jerry Norton are doing on YouTube. Make sure if you're not subscribed to each and every one of our YouTube channels, go do that right now. Go do it right now.
What is this? My son just walked in and seen two old dudes showing off their new shoes. And with that, guys, we're out.
Nobody even told me how fast I am.
Wholesale Hotline 188.